Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 6th to the 9th of October 2025. Hello there. How are you this week? Are you well? Joining me as usual is Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks, Rob. Can we get some right before we start?
He's
Because
gobbing
this
off
week's been
already.
massive.
Yes.
No, can we just start by saying we're not here next week? Let's get
So,
that elephant out of the room, out of the way, out of the room, indeed.
get out, elephants. Out you go. Chop, chop. Yes, so unfortunately, we're both away next week.
Yes.
I'm glad that everything that happened this week happened this week.
Whew, thank
But we
goodness,
will
yes.
cover it all. I mean, to be fair, this is going to be the first episode off we've had off in over a year. This is our best run ever.
And we tried it.
We
Yes,
did.
we
We
try our
tried.
best, don't we, as well?
We
but
genuinely try.
there
And I
you go.
don't like missing weeks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a
No, we
martyr.
don't.
We're martyrs to this podcast. We don't like missing weeks, but unfortunately, life gets in the way. And next
But
week,
unfortunately, we're going away and we're going to have a really good time. So sorry about that one.
yeah. But obviously, we'll be racked with guilt at the same time.
Oh yeah, of course.
Racked with guilt. Racked with guilt. Where are you going?
Record day will come and we'll be like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to the south of Wales.
Oh, the south of
is that what we
Wales.
call it?
That
The
makes it sound
south of
posh.
Wales, does
That makes it sound
yeah?
posher than it probably is. Cardiff, that's where you're going.
Yeah, I'm stopping off at
Stopping
Cardiff.
off at
We're going
Cardiff.
we're going pretty much the furthest south of Wales, like near Tenby, Pembrokeshire.
Yeah,
And
nice.
I've never been to Wales, so I'm
But then-
really excited. I am.
You're excited. Oh, it's cracking. So it is, really. It's cracking.
It is. I hear you told me you enjoyed Cardiff.
Oh, I
I'm
loved it. I did.
excited.
Oh, I
couldn't
absolutely
stop
loved
now.
it.
Actually, I
Oh,
think we're doing quite well. At
with
this.
the whole podcast like this, so we will. Don't know where I was going there. I went somewhere else then. Yeah, and I'm off to York. So basically, sorry, but we're not here next week. But we will cover
Yes.
everything that happens next week in the following week's podcast, as we normally do.
100%.
Don't you worry, we'll catch you all up. We're sorry about that. Meanwhile, this week, OMG, quite a week.
Just a bit.
Just a
Do you
bit.
know what? After Thursday's episode, I'd totally forgotten what had happened at the start of the week.
know.
Oh my god, was all the Ben and Callum stuff this week as well?
Yeah,
Thursday's episode was
heavy stuff, man. Heavy stuff.
Heavy.
The sort that only EastEnders does, and it does it well, right?
Yeah, it sat with me since watching it. I'm going to be honest, especially as a parent, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yes.
But holy crap, the world online is a scary place.
Isn't it just? I've said it before, and I will say it again, Ree. I would not want to be a teenager in today's society.
Yeah, or have one.
Yeah, no, none of that, thank you. I'm quite happy with where I am, apart from,
Yeah.
getting older. Don't like that, but I wouldn't want to be a teenager right now, let me tell you.
No, true.
So we have much to discuss, so let's get on with it. Say the words, Ree.
Here we are this week's Albert Square. You caught me unawares, Rob. Let's get on with it with this week's Albert Square After Dark.
So let's start with talking about Ballum. Ballum.
Callum.
Stop
Callum.
it! Stop trying to rile people. Okay, so we had the triumphant return of Ben Mitchell this week. Wow. I mean, so first of all, obviously, the affair needs to come out to people, because otherwise, what's the point in having an affair in case there isn't a big reveal about it, right? Not the most subtle reveal that we've ever had in terms of how it was found out. The affair was found out basically because Johnny and Callum were snogging in the middle of the Vic, and then Kathy walked in and discovered
Kathy
them.
walked in.
Yeah, that was it.
Was instantly fuming. Which, to be fair, like you're making sausage rolls for your son-in-law's dad's funeral, and you walked into that. Kind of got the point.
I mean,
but
I did like Kathy's anger about. The main fact was that I made you sausage rolls. I'm furious about this. That seemed to be what she was more angry about, which fair.
I mean,
would
fair.
say.
Yeah,
absolutely fair.
I agree.
So that means that Callum realises that he needs to just sort of pull his finger out and actually do something about this. Was there a side of you that kind of thought that Callum was just trying to sort of pretend that that bit didn't need to happen and that he could just sort of continue and just sort of hold it off?
Yeah, I think he was probably planning on it coming out at some point, just maybe not at that exact moment. I think. I do believe that he was going to start telling people, but. I mean, they could have been more discreet about it from day dot. Let's be honest. They've not exactly not been flaunting it around, have they?
No, it's not the most
It
subtle
was
affair
bound
that's
to
ever been
happen.
had. Yeah, exactly.
No. Can I just
Catherine,
say something though? Who I'm more glad about, who we got to see, Stuart. Bring him back,
well, I was
please.
gonna,
Bring
yeah,
Stuart back. He
I
was
was gonna,
hardly in it.
I was gonna say, well, Stuart's arrival was him sort of leaning out of the taxi window
Yes.
as he arrived. Which at first I was kind of like, why is he leaning out of the taxi window? And then thought because he's Stuart and he's mad. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And he
tell you
said,
what,
"We've got one funeral today."
yeah,
Yeah.
so Kathy didn't react well. Slapped Callum. It didn't go well at all. And so that meant that basically everybody found out, and the kind of basic thing was like, yeah, I'll tell Ben, I'll tell Ben, I'll tell Ben. Um, Having said that, at the very start of that episode, we start in a prison, and it's very quickly revealed that Ben is going to the funeral. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know whether it still makes sense that he went. I'll be honest with you.
No. Right. Do you know what? It did in a way. He said that he'd snitched on someone in the USA so that he
Yeah, I
could
get
get
that.
transferred.
That's fine. I
Actually,
understand. That's fine. I
fair.
understand that. I
Yeah.
understand that. That's absolutely fine.
They are allowed to go to close family members' funerals. So if he
This is my
sold it to
point.
them that it was a close family member,
Maybe.
the part that made no sense to me was that he wasn't in handcuffs. Any other time we've seen somebody in a soap go to a funeral who's from prison, they're in
Yeah.
handcuffs. So
Well,
which bit wasn't true? Are they not always in handcuffs? Should he have
uh,
been in handcuffs? The worst prison guards on the planet that
oh, of
accompanied
course.
him.
Yeah, of course they were.
What?
I mean, it was the fact that he went to the wake afterwards as well. I was sort of like, is that allowed? Are you allowed to go and socialize? Is that like, is I didn't know about that bit, but
Or
hey,
to buy yourself and order
yeah,
yourself a soft drink, all that.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, he did arrive in handcuffs, and then the handcuffs actually got unlocked so that he could enjoy himself
That's
at the
what I
wake.
mean.
Yeah, no,
That's what I
I'm not sure
mean
that bit's
there.
allowed. But then he couldn't have tried to punch anybody if he didn't, if he had handcuffs on, did he?
Well, obviously. And I mean, like I say, the worst prison guards on the planet who just
Mm,
didn't stop him. They
yeah,
let him
exactly.
go. They caught him and then let
Yeah,
him go again. It's like, what are you doing? Anyway,
not
yeah.
shouldn't there.
But
Um,
we'll get to all of that.
so the funeral basically is
Yeah.
going on, and Callum is just preparing to say goodbye to his dad. Johnny's by his side, holding his hands, and he's ever so happy that Johnny's there by his side. And then a car pulls up, and Ben steps out, like I'd miss a good funeral. He says. I mean, right, what I will say is, as
Well,
frustrating as I find Ben as a character,
mhm.
I will never take away the fact that I think Max Bowden is very, 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 very good at all.
He
And
is very,
he is very
yeah,
good,
he
and he
is.
was very good this week, and he hasn't lost
Mhm.
Ben either, has he? Because sometimes
No,
you'll get a return, and it's sort of like, oh, they've forgotten how to play that character a little bit, but not at all, I would say.
no, I agree. I were actually thinking that all the way
Mm.
throughout it. I was like, it's Ben. He's Ben's
Yeah,
back.
with
Brilliant.
a
Like he's
beard.
never been away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with a beard. He's grown a beard.
with a beard. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
about the only difference.
Mhm.
So yeah, they're at the wake. And what I quite liked was the fact that there didn't need to be any sort of real word spoken about it, but Ben very kind of quickly worked out exactly what was going on. Because Callum sort of says to him, "Okay, I've sort of been seeing somebody," and Ben tries to get out of him who it is, and then the silence sort of tells its own story, and then he just leaps at Johnny, and Stuart has to step in, and it all gets very messy.
Yes, doesn't it? Well, he does give us when he's saying to him, "Who is it?" Callum looks straight over at Johnny and he's
Yeah,
like, "Of course,
subtlety.
makes sense."
Subtlety is not Callum's strong point in this sort of thing, is it?
It's really not, is it? So how do you feel now? So when Ben first turned up,
Yeah.
Callum genuinely looked happy to see him and
Yeah, it's just the thing.
overjoyed,
I
and
don't know about overjoyed. I think he was a little bit
I
sort
thought
of
he
like,
was.
I don't know about overjoyed. I'm sure people would argue with me, but I didn't sense
I am.
overjoyed. Yeah, well, nothing new there. I would sense that he was more sort of concerned that, oh, this needs to happen now, does it? Oh, I see. This is the conversation that needs to happen now. But then, Ben did sort of pull him straight into a kiss, and I didn't sense that Callum particularly pulled away from that.
This is what
And
I mean. He seemed very happy when he
yeah,
first saw him. It weren't like I. It's not like he filled with dread instantly and like, oh, well, like he was genuinely
mm,
happy to see him at first.
at first, yeah.
Obviously.
The conversation they had later, though, this is what I mean. Well, I don't think that Callum and Johnny are long for the world. I really, really don't. Because when
Yeah.
Ben turns around and said, "Well, do you love him?" You could have parked a Boeing 777 in the gap that was left between Ben asking that question and Callum going, "Yeah, yeah, I do love him. Yeah, yeah, yeah."
Oh, and see, I believed him, and I thought Callum didn't want to admit it because he didn't want to hurt Ben. So you were like, oh, I don't want to tell him, but yeah, I do. That's how I read that situation.
Oh, I don't know. This is the thing, though. You know, that we're
Yeah.
clearly it's being sold as like this affair was wrong. Obviously, it was wrong. It's an affair. Affairs are
Yeah,
wrong. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, we know that. And then I just don't think that it was. I think seeing Ben again will have reminded Callum. Oh, it's Ben, and I love Ben, and all of that kind of thing. I just felt a bit. I felt sorry for Johnny. Frankly, I felt Johnny dealt with the situation
Oh,
quite well,
I
but
actually felt sorry for Ben.
did
I'm
you?
really
No,
sorry for Ben.
I did feel sorry for Ben.
Yeah.
I did feel sorry for Ben. I won't lie to you because you know, yeah, he has sort of arrived back in the country and he's seeing all his family around him back in the Vic. I mean, that'll teach you to go back to Walford because that's what happens in Walford. You set foot in Walford and misery absolutely drowns you. And that's exactly what
Yes.
happened because he discovers that his marriage is basically over. That
Mm-hmm.
his husband has been having an affair with someone that he used to sleep with. The fact that his whole family knew about it.
Which, in fairness, they literally found out that morning. Well, oh no,
Phil
actually, Phil
hadn't.
knew, didn't he? Yeah, no,
Phil
true.
knew.
Well, still,
Imagine
they
Phil.
explain it there.
Phil's had his own stuff going on, to be fair. So Ben appears to sort of say, well, if he treats you well and you love him, I guess we're getting a divorce then, fine. And then sort of leaves the pub. And then that's the sort of the last scene between Ben and Callum.
Yeah, he kind of leaves it as if he's like trying to say, well, you deserve something better than me, and
Mm,
I've treated you poorly, clearly. Do you know what, right? And I'm going to say something that's probably going to be a bit controversial, but I'm going to
how
say it.
unlike you.
Right. Well, what? But so for me, I know this is going to seem so screwed up that I'm saying this. I don't justify an affair. I think the affair is wrong, and I stand by it that he should
But,
have split with Ben before he had an affair. Well, no, actually, I'm more leaning towards still going on that point. But,
right,
right, had Ben gone to jail for like something a bit more aggressive,
like
like
murder. Yeah,
murder or ABH, GBH or something,
yeah.
would an affair feel a bit more justified rather than he's
Credit
only gone
card
in for a
fraud.
bit of fraud? Couldn't you
Yeah,
have waited, Callum? Do you know
yeah,
what
no.
I mean,
Yeah, I
though?
know what you mean. I fully know what you mean. The thing is, we also know that Ben has sort of been like he's been in fights and stuff in prison, so he's not exactly behaving
Yeah.
himself there, is he? And the fact that he quite
Still managed to
cheerfully,
get back to UK,
well,
though.
this is what I mean, and the fact that somebody else he grassed somebody up to get himself out of prison, like he's not ever going to get released for good behaviour, I would argue, ever, no
No.
matter
So
where he
how are
is.
they going to make it that he gets? Is he getting released then?
He will at some point, all right.
Or is
Like
this
this,
just to give Ballum closure?
maybe I didn't sense that it was closure between Ben and Callum at all. I really didn't. I didn't sense that this is the end of Ballum.
I do feel like they're going to get divorced there.
Oh, they might
I
get
feel
divorced.
like that's going to go all the way through, but then they might get remarried
Yeah,
again.
they will. They will do. They
Why
will do
wouldn't
the
they?
divorce. They will do the
Yeah.
divorce, which will kind of put a pin in it until Ben comes back full time, which is
Yes.
going to happen
Yes.
at some point, right?
Yes.
And then it will. They'll begin this massive war between Johnny and Ben and all of this kind of thing.
Hmm.
I mean, I was half expecting by the end of the week for Ben to be sort of talking to Phil on the phone or something and say, I want him dead, get him sorted, or something like that. I was expecting a bit of continuation from it,
Hmm.
rather than what appeared to be Ben kind of sadly accepting what was happening
Mm.
and seems to have kind of put Callum and Johnny on the right path. But then at the same time, even when Ben had gone, I just didn't sense that Callum wanted to be with Johnny at that exact moment. Like he was like, oh, I want to be on my own and all this kind of thing. And it
Yeah.
was sort of like, you know, if you really, really, really wanted to be with Johnny and you love him that much at that moment, you would have just been like, yeah, that was tough, but let's walk off into the sunset together, hand in hand. You know,
Yeah, I agree. But like you said before, maybe the fact that he's seen Ben face to face has made all
mm,
these feelings resurface. So
this
now
is what I
he's going to
mean.
start doubting.
Yeah,
But it's like we say, it depends whether Ben's coming back. I agree. I think maybe they're going to get divorced. Callum and Johnny will have the thing. Then Ben will get released, and then it'll be back to Ballon, and we'll have
I
a
also
nice
think,
little war, like you
yeah,
said.
I also
Yeah.
think Johnny's going to do something silly. I don't know what it would be, but something will happen to put Callum off him, or something like
Yeah,
that. You know what
fair.
I mean?
Yeah, I
And
can
then
see
Callum will
that.
feel what it would be because Johnny actually, in many ways, is an ideal boyfriend. In many ways, it would seem. I don't think
Yeah,
he,
well, he's not. He's a law abider as well, isn't he? He's
mind you,
blooming lawyer. Like,
I say he's an ideal boyfriend. The way he broke up with Felix wasn't ideal, so maybe I'm talking crap. He wasn't an ideal
yeah,
boyfriend
there
then
is that.
whatsoever. Yeah.
I was surprised when Callum said that he did love Johnny, and you're saying you weren't convinced. So
Mm.
why do you think Callum in that moment said that to Ben? Why not say no, I don't love him yet, or something instead?
Because I feel because at that moment, it's the only thing you can say. I think. Like, why else are we having this conversation? Like, I feel like
Like to
Callum would.
justify the affair,
Yeah,
to be
because
like, yeah,
Callum.
yeah, actually, it's love. It's not
Yeah,
just
oh, it's totally
affair.
love. Yeah,
Like,
yeah. We've got the
yeah,
kids' names planned and everything. Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay,
Like,
yeah,
because, everyone knows about it, and Callum has been talking the big game up to this point and saying to Johnny, right, no, I want us to go public. I want this to be us. Yeah, you're the one I want. Johnny was there when Jono died. I feel like that was quite a psychologically important moment for their relationship.
yeah, true.
And the lie that Johnny told, I feel like came from a good place. So it's not like he particularly deceived Callum in any other way. So I feel like Callum feels like he's in a good place with Johnny, but I can just see that Ben being there, he suddenly realizes that he quite likes men with beards, and realizes that they need to be together or something. Something like that will happen. Johnny will do
Yeah,
something really minute that will mess it all up, and that will be enough for Callum to realize, actually, you're not the one I want to be with. Is my
yeah,
prediction.
yeah. I can see all that happening. Just what will it be?
What will it be? The only other thing with Ben is there was a really nice scene between Ben and Phil in the prison because they went to visit. They went to visit Ben and Kathy.
Yes.
Not very often do you get scenes with Phil, Kathy, and Ben as a triangle because
Yeah, as a family.
as a family you don't often
Yeah.
see Phil and Kathy working together as parents.
No, you don't. To be fair, so it was actually a really good scene. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it actually.
And Phil, it's
Phil opening
basically,
up, yeah.
yeah, it was good. It was really really good stuff. And then sort of Ben goes back to his cell, and he's sort of, he's still got the picture of Callum on the wall. It's not over by a long shot. Let me tell you, it's not over.
I feel like Ben's going to be a martyr to the situation. Though
Mm.
I think we're
Ben
meant to
never.
feel like. I feel like we're supposed to feel like Ben has such low self-esteem about himself that he's like, in inverted commas, allowing Callum to go and have the relationship with Johnny because Ben
Yeah,
is not worthy of Callum. So we're going to have all of this struggle,
yeah.
which is inevitably going to make Callum feel even more guiltier that Ben feels that way. Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it is. So, I mean, watch this space, I would say. I think Matt Bowden is doing a play this year. I think I saw that he's going,
Yes.
I think he's on tour or something this year. So,
Mm-hmm.
give it a year. Maybe next
Yeah.
Christmas, we might be seeing Ben again. I could see that happening and walking in, probably Ben and Callum getting married or something.
Yes,
I
I'm
could
just
say,
going to
yeah,
say that. They'll be getting
yeah,
married. Ben will walk in. It'll be
yeah.
the. Has anybody got any objections? Ben will walk
Yeah, I'm
in.
not too happy about it. And then duff, and then
But carry
Ballon,
on.
yeah, wet
You
knickers
look
everywhere
beautiful,
for the Ballon
Lexi.
fans. Yeah, all that
Yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all going to happen. With Lexi, I mean, what can you see happening here? I
I'm
don't
not
think she's going to
sure.
like Johnny too much. I can see her being quite a problem child.
I was wondering if they were kind of half writing her out with Jay, with how they've been talking this week.
Could
But I
be.
feel like we'd miss Lexi if they did that.
I
But
mean, it feels weird. I feel like she wouldn't be because she has got more family on the square, hasn't she?
mm,
Rather than going off with Jay,
yeah,
but they need to sort of address the fact that why would Jay leave Lexi at this moment? So I feel like that's going to have to be sort of addressed at
definitely.
some point. Like we know
Yeah,
he's at his granddad's, but that's all we know at the moment. I feel
yeah.
like they need to sort of make it a little bit more of a final statement about Jay before
I
very
agree.
much more time has passed.
I think I think Lexi will be hurt at first, and then I think she'll end up just loving Johnny. If I'm honest with you.
Probably, probably. I just
Yeah,
see. No, I can see her being an
do you
issue
think
until Ben returns.
they
I really can.
they always make her quite mature though?
Oh,
That
she's more
like
mature
that
than
seems
anybody
to
else
be
in their
her.
family.
Well, with that being a USP, maybe she's just going to be like, yeah, fair enough, Callum. Like, my dad's in prison. He shouldn't have gone to prison, should he? So crack on. I don't know. I
I don't
feel like
know.
she might be more
I don't
understanding.
know. I feel like this might be the beginning of Lexi becoming a Mitchell.
I'm here for it if it is. Bring it
We
on.
shall see. We shall see. Right, ladies and gents, let's move on now to Harry and Kojo. So, on to Harry, Ravi, and Kojo now. Now, both Harry and Kojo have returned from their trips. I think we thought that Harry was going to be away for longer than he was, but he went away for the weekend.
They did say 2 nights. Now, like, oh, they're going to
Yeah.
make it carry over into next week somehow that they
Yeah,
stayed longer. But yeah, it was literally 2 nights. By the
honestly,
sounds
I
of it.
wasn't expecting Harry to stay. I wasn't expecting to see Harry this week.
Yeah.
So, in that weekend, Kojo is I think I would use the word brainwashed by this point, I would say.
Groomed?
Yeah,
Being
groomed
groomed,
works as well.
maybe?
What was up
Buying
with him?
presents and stuff.
Had he taken drugs? Or was he just very, very tired?
I was confused by this because I thought he'd taken something, but I think it was just that he'd not slept and he'd not eaten and he'd not
Yeah.
drank.
He was
But
like a
what
zombie,
was
bless him.
because he was just Where did they go again? I can't even remember where
I
they
can't
said they
remember where they
went.
said they'd gone, but he'd been on some sort of job or something because Oakley had
Yeah.
been with him, so he wasn't exactly he hadn't gone to Alton Towers, has he?
I mean, were Oakley not sleeping or eating or drinking on this
Well,
trip though as well?
Oakey's probably off his face on something, so doesn't need to sleep, and he
I
can
don't
just
need
handle
it.
it better,
Sleep for the
can't he?
week.
Yeah,
Maybe he did
exactly.
give him some then.
Maybe he
Maybe.
did. Well, as a consequence to whatever was going on with Kojo, he later collapses at work. I quite enjoyed Kojo referring to Phil as Mr. Mitchell. I don't think he's done that before, but he's now calling Phil Mr. Mitchell, which works for Kojo's character, I
I
think.
thought he had called it him before.
No,
I can't
no,
recall him calling him Phil.
yeah, I know. I remembered it because when he stayed the night at Phil's, and Phil
Hmm.
said, "No, you can stay here." He was like, "Oh, thanks, Phil." So I couldn't remember him calling him Mr. Mitchell before.
Then maybe it's a work thing out of like
Maybe
respect when he's at
I
work.
could
He calls
understand
him
that.
Mr. Mitchell. Yeah,
Fair, I
can
can
see that.
understand that.
Hmm.
But anyway, the collapse is enough to kind of make Harry realise that this has gone far enough.
Yeah.
As if that was the only sign he needed to know that this had gone quite
This is the
far enough.
catalyst.
This is the catalyst. Straw that broke the camel's back. Kojo's collapsed again.
Yeah.
So he goes over to Ravi and says, like, enough, leave Kojo out of this. And Ravi's like,
Yeah.
lol, no. And then kicks him out, basically.
Hmm.
Nicola's away. We don't know where Nicola is. She's just done a flit somewhere. She just wasn't in this week at all.
This was all a bit. It felt a bit like Laura Doddington maybe went somewhere. Not that I want to
Yeah,
speculate, but it felt like they
yeah.
just kind of shoved Teddy in, and it should have been her. I feel like.
Well, I'll tell you
But
what,
then,
Nicola wouldn't have done what Teddy did.
well, I don't think Teddy would have done what Teddy did either. If I'm honest
I
with
don't
you.
know. I don't know. So Teddy goes
Really?
round to the flat. He nicks Harry's keys and he goes round to
Yeah.
the flat and leaves a camera in there. His idea is to blackmail Ravi
Yeah.
with what he's discovered.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea in itself, but the camera is discovered within about 5 minutes because it is the size of a satellite dish.
Yeah, and it's not remotely well hidden at
No,
all.
he's put it next to one of Kojo's taxis, which
Yeah.
obviously Kojo is going to discover because
Yeah.
Kojo likes taxis. Because
Yeah.
Oki says to him that they're going to go to a car show. I don't
Yeah.
believe that Kojo is going to see a single car while he's there. By the way,
We might on the road
and
to,
he might on the
dropping
road,
the
but that's
drugs
about
off.
it. Yeah, that's about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And he goes, right, I need to take my cars with me, which is low key adorable.
Hmm.
And goes straight to one of his taxis on the top of the shelf and discovers the camera. He's like, what's
Yeah.
this? So as a consequence, the situation has now become 10 times worse because Ravi is sort of like, well, I'm assuming this wasn't George. It doesn't seem his style. Basically, a confrontation between Harry and Ravi. We don't discover what the consequences of this are going to be.
No, I honestly, I've got so many problems with it. I still stand by that Teddy wouldn't do this. I don't think Teddy would do something like this, if I'm honest with you.
I don't know. I feel like the idea in itself was sound, but just the execution was terrible.
You reckon? I feel like when they came in, we're supposed to believe that this family of Mitchells have got all their own like hard men and stuff, and that they can
I don't know.
defeat
Actually, I felt
people
like
like Ravi and take them on. Do you not
I
think that they are
I
tough
felt
enough then?
Nicola was probably the one that you could. I think it was very relevant that Nicola wasn't there. If Nicola had been there this week, this wouldn't have happened because I think Harry would have gone straight to Nicola anyway. But Nicola wasn't there.
I also feel like Nicola don't care enough about Kojo though to do anything at the
That's
same
true.
time.
That's true. Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
Teddy is a bit more empathetic towards Kojo's involvement.
Well, both
Nicola's
of
still
them.
like, well, he got you in this mess in the first place, Harry.
Yeah.
That's what she keeps saying, isn't it?
Yeah, which she
Yeah,
ain't wrong. She ain't wrong. Yeah. So the situation is just even
yeah,
worse
yeah,
now.
yeah.
I mean, this whole thing is it's going on a bit. This storyline, isn't it? It's quite
Yeah,
a
it
long.
is.
It's quite a
Mhm.
long-winded storyline. This I would kind of
Yes.
like the next stage of it to
It,
sort of arrive because we feel like we've sort of been going around in circles a little bit with it
yes.
recently.
Yeah. It needs to lead to something quite big as well. The ending needs to be quite big, I
Yeah,
feel, because it's gone on for so long. A part of me just thought that they'd done it all just for the gun to happen. Like, I was like,
yeah,
is that all what this was? But they've carried it on.
yeah.
Because they could have easily just stopped here with Kojo. When Nicola's bought Harry out, that could have been the end of it. So I feel like it needs to be something a lot bigger that happens now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it in the sense that I'm liking Kojo having something really meaty to do. I like Kojo having a
Yes.
big storyline to himself. This
Hmm.
is good. And to be fair, this whole thing of cuckooing is
Kojo.
like, yeah,
Cuckooing, yeah.
is a big sort of a thing. So it's
Yeah, yeah,
important that
yeah.
that's
It's, yeah.
covered. So on that side, I don't mind it at all. But at the
Mm.
same time, I'm sort of like I'm very much ready for the next stage of the storyline to sort of happen now. And I
Yeah.
don't actually know what that would be. I don't kind of, because it
No.
feels like we've had sort of mini sort of glimpses of what it could be in terms of,
Yeah.
Oki getting himself beaten up, Nicola stepping forward and removing Harry from the process.
Hmm.
Um, and now, so what happens now? Is it just going to really sort of directly focus on Kojo? But now Harry seems to be, I can see Ravi saying, well, you're back in now because of what happened.
This is what I'm thinking, because Ravi somehow deduces that it was Teddy who's left the camera there, which, all right, fair enough, he did go around and have a go at him. But then
Yeah,
Harry just takes the rap again, which I'm not entirely sure why. I would have just sat there denying anything to
all
do with it.
involvement. Yeah, of course you
Yeah,
would. Of
like,
course you would.
like it's definitely nothing to do with my dad. So yeah, like you say, does that now mean that Harry's back in the game, or is he just going to beat him up? I figured that was what it
Is
was.
that going to be
But then
enough
what do
though?
you
Because that doesn't,
achieve?
yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't really achieve anything because Ravi knows full well that Harry wants Kojo out of this, and the fact that he
Yeah.
wants all of his stuff at the flat to end.
Yeah.
Beating Harry up's not going to really solve anything, and also I feel like beating Harry up is going to get Nicola on his back as well, and that's the one thing he doesn't want
But she's gone, hasn't she? So I think that's
for
why.
now. But she
Maybe
might be
I'm
back
wrong.
next.
Maybe that is why she's gone now, so that
Yeah,
they can go right. Well, he ain't got Nicola to save him. So what's going to happen? Teddy's
maybe, but
involved now, though.
yeah, but not seen Teddy for weeks,
Yeah, right. I did think
weeks
this when
and
he came
weeks.
on, and I thought, is it bad that we didn't miss him? Like, I
I mean, I
didn't
don't know.
realise that he'd not been there
I
until I
don't
saw
mind
him
Teddy.
again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Teddy. I just feel like I just want to know where the storyline's going. I'm just sort of
Yeah, I
confused as to
agree.
what the ultimate outcome
Yeah.
of this storyline is going to be.
Hmm.
Like, I get the issue that they're talking about here, but it's sort of like I don't get how it climaxes at this point at all.
No, I can't figure it out because I feel like Kojo's been in enough of these situations, but maybe it is. Maybe he's going to be on the road. He's going to get arrested, maybe. But then if he gets arrested for it, won't Kojo get deported?
Yeah, that's the big thing about
Is
it.
that
Yeah,
what it's going to
that's
be?
the whole sole reason why they haven't gone to the police about this.
Yeah, yeah. So is that maybe where it's leading to? But
Maybe.
having
So
said
what, a
that,
Kojo
isn't the
exit, you
flat
reckon?
in possibly, or is it the fact that it's all in George's name? The flat is George somehow going to
George
get.
going to get arrested? Yeah, I mean, I can see
Yeah,
them. I can see Walford Police deciding that George needs to be arrested in this
yeah,
scenario,
totally.
100%. Because I suppose actually Ravi could say, well, George owns the house, and actually he was
Hmm.
fully aware of what was going on, so he's
Yeah,
fully involved actually.
yeah, I
So
could see that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously, Gina and Harry, that's going to end badly,
Mm.
isn't it?
Which is a shame
Anna's
because I quite
leaving
like them together.
soon.
She
She
is,
going to
yeah.
get wrapped up in it somehow?
Maybe, maybe collateral.
Mm.
We shall see. Okay, before we get on to the big Joel storyline, let's have a little bit of a discussion about Suki and Eve. So, Suki and Eve, is this a soap thirstery? I think it might be. Lesbian couple
Ah, yeah.
adopting? Might be.
I can't recall any that I could like across any of the soaps. I could be wrong though. I
I'm
don't know
sure
about Home and Away. We're classing them as they're not UK, so they're just
we're classing them as a soap, yeah, because they are a
yeah,
soap, yeah.
they're a soap, but I wouldn't
But
know.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I don't know. I think I'm pretty
Soaps.
sure that it's not been done before in a
It's
soap.
not been done in
It
EastEnders,
certainly hasn't been done in
right? Let's
EastEnders.
definitely not been
Um,
done in EastEnders.
Whether it's a good idea for Suki and Eve is a completely different matter. I low key loved the scene where Suki sort of broached the issue to the family, and they all turned around and went, "What are you talking about? You're a shit parent.
What an awful idea! You're a terrible mother.
You're a terrible mother,
I
and
mean,
this
they're
is
not
something you
wrong.
definitely should do." I mean, it was a bit harsh. I thought, like,
Yeah,
literally
but
turning
they're
around going, "One's in prison, one's dead, one hates you, and I'm here because I'm stuck here," says Vinny. So,
well, I get it, but I don't think they'd have been that harsh had the stuff with Ivani not gone on. I
maybe,
think they're
yeah,
all still
yeah.
very raw. Like
But then
they've
they've all moved back in.
unwillingly. It's
Oh,
only
well,
because they've
yeah.
like it's either this or a stinky B&B.
Yeah, which fair.
Essentially, is what they
Yeah,
said.
and we know
So
from Cindy the B&Bs around Wolford are not great places to stay.
exactly. So they're not there because they want to be there. So
Yeah,
they're all still very annoyed about the Ivani situation, except for Ivani. I feel like who's the most
Havani's over
understanding
it.
in it all.
Havani's
Yeah.
over it. She really, really is.
I
So
I feel like Eve would be a good mum though. I
I
feel
think she'd be an
like this
excellent
could.
mum. She's
I
very,
think
very
she's
motherly.
actually
Yeah,
yes, she's very
she could.
maternal,
If
considering
she
she
could.
considers herself not to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
considering that Suki has had what 4 kids,
yeah.
Eve is already 10 times more maternal than Suki has ever been,
But Suki is maternal,
but in a
but
very twisted way.
well, she's mind you, though she has had moments where she's not been remotely maternal, where she could have
Yeah,
been. In fairness,
like sending one of your sons to prison and
well, yeah, that was the thing.
letting one rot in prison for no reason whatsoever.
And letting another one run off because she's bisexual and then
Yeah.
you end up being a lesbian.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
so
yeah, when you
maternal,
put it like
so
that, actually,
maternal. Um,
maybe maybe
yeah,
Priya had a point.
maybe it is a bad idea. But Eve has decided that actually the seed that Suki planted in her head about potentially being a mother, she actually quite likes this seed. A beanstalk may grow. So
Yes.
she decides, because they've sort of been kicking a ball around of like, are we going to sort of talk about stuff? Are we going to get back together? What's
Yeah.
going on? Because Suki, fair enough, is sort of like, can we talk? Because we haven't
Yeah.
spoken in months. So can we
Yeah.
talk, please? So they go and sit in the Albert and have a conversation. And Eve basically says, look, I want to adopt. You put the seed in my head. So actually, if anything, I feel like Suki kind of owes it to Eve now to just go through with this because
Well, she
of
planted the
everything that
seed,
happened.
didn't
Yeah,
she?
exactly.
Talk about all or nothing. They were split up 1 minute ago, and within 5 minutes, let's adopt.
Yeah,
Like,
I just,
maybe
but
sort your stuff out first.
I
It
was
can be
just,
bubbling in the background as an idea, perhaps, but
it
like you've
can.
literally been split up for all this time, or
Yeah, but
separated, shall we say?
this is also what Suki wanted, though.
Yeah, yeah, it
So
is.
why is? I mean, I get why she's having doubts, but at the same time, it's sort of like, why are you having doubts then, Suki? Because this is what you wanted.
Because
This is the
everyone's telling her
dreams.
what a shit mum she's
Oh,
always
people have
been, I
been saying that.
guess.
People have been saying that to her since the day she arrived.
True,
She's used to
true.
that.
Maybe because she'd got her hopes up and now she's like, I don't want. She felt so hurt, when she realised that Ivani had had the abortion. She doesn't want to feel that pain in case
Maybe,
something goes wrong, maybe.
maybe. I mean,
They were
so they're not.
talking about. Sorry, I'm going to say they were
Yeah,
talking about the legal side of things because obviously Eve's been to prison before, and they were saying, are you even allowed to adopt if you've been to prison?
and it's a
And
good
Eve were
point.
like,
Are you?
take it. Well, she did say they take into consideration like what it were for, or you've saved your
What?
time and things.
What if one of you's covered up a murder? Is does that kind of put things in doubt?
Well, yeah, I would
I would
think
have thought
so.
so. I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So presumably this is now the next chapter of Suki
Mm.
Eve. They're going to sort of go down this adoption process. Now, does this mean that they're going to have a little one, or are they going to sort of end up doing more of a fostering sort of thing where they have troublesome teenagers, or what? Do we
Interesting.
reckon?
I feel like they wanted to do it. I think the way that Eve was talking is like she wanted to do it with a younger child, like she wanted to go from start from
Yeah,
scratch,
yeah,
so
she
to
wants to do the
speak.
whole mother experience, doesn't she?
Yeah,
I mean, actually
yeah.
thinking about it, there is no way that either of them will be allowed to foster at all, surely.
No. Well, yeah, but if they can't foster, then surely they can't adopt,
I
right?
would have thought that the two kind of go hand in hand, to be fair. So
Mm.
then that would leave sort of artificial insemination. Is that the next? Was that the only other option?
What, having their own? Well, yeah, they
Yeah,
could. I don't know. Would they? What is their age? I don't know the success rate when you past a certain
look at
age with like
Sharon. Is all
IVF
I would
and
say to
stuff.
that.
Oh, and Denise. I mean, just get to
Yeah,
Phil.
good to
Actually,
Phil.
just get
Oh,
to Phil.
Phil.
He's
Yeah,
he's
why don't you have
seems to
sex
be
with
all
Phil?
right.
You'll be pregnant with octuplets.
I feel like now. I feel like they both want to adopt. I don't know if
Yeah,
they'd go down the IVF route. Actually, we've kind of just had that with Sonia as well. Not that I'm
yeah.
saying you
That.
can't
Oh,
have more than
yeah.
one
That's true.
IVF baby,
That's
but
true. Yeah. Have you ejaculated recently? Yeah, yeah. I know that. Yeah. So
what was that relevant
that's
to?
what that doctor said to Reese, wasn't it? I remember I remember
What
watching
are
that
you on
line.
about?
I remember watching that line at 6 o'clock in the morning and spat my tea out because I wasn't expecting it that early in the day. So yeah, that's kind of seems to be where we're at. Suki and Eve are basically back together now, which is nice because they do work together really, really well, and
Yeah.
actually they kind of they're great on screen together. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, you're right. I can totally see Eve as a motherly figure because she's been
Mm.
quite a motherly figure all throughout her time on the squares,
Yeah.
to all the Slater kids. And actually, when she was having scenes, I think it was last week when she was having scenes with Jean as well. Like she was even quite motherly towards Jean, making sure that she'd had her meds and everything. So she is, in many ways, an ideal mother. She will be fantastic.
With Lily as well, with Lily and
Yeah,
Charlie, she's always there for them. I
yeah.
just feel like they need to just slow down. Like, you've just been separated. Now you're talking about adopting a kid together.
It
Just
seems
chill
like a
out a
deal
bit.
breaker for Eve at this point, though, doesn't it? Because I
Yeah.
think it's sort of like you've done this, you've made me
Mm.
think this, so you kind of owe it to me now to go through with this.
I feel like Suki, with a fresh start there, with a new child, I actually think that should be okay now.
Yeah,
Although saying that she did just try and buy Ivani's baby, so
yeah. She's
has
not
she really
really.
changed that
Not really.
much?
She's not. I mean,
She had before all of that though. Do you remember us saying we were like,
yeah.
"Oh, this is not the Suki we know. She wouldn't do this. She wouldn't do this anymore." And then she did it.
Yeah, Ruthless
Yeah.
Suki is still there in the
Hmm.
background, lurking.
Hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to be a smooth journey either way, but we'll see. We'll see. Right, let's get on to the big topic of conversation this week, and that would be Joel. So on to Joel. Wow, 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 wow. Max Murray,
Yeah.
Alice Haig, stand up, take awards, all the awards, very, very good,
Agreed.
excellent.
Hmm.
Wow. I mean, what were your immediate thoughts on Thursday's episode?
Right. Okay. Let's start at the beginning, shall
It's a
we?
very good place to start as the song goes.
Did Amy hit Joel?
Probably,
So she hit
probably.
him in what way? So it was just interesting that that's how they started it and that we didn't see it.
I
I
thought that
found
was
it interesting that we
interesting.
didn't see it.
Mm.
I
I
was
thought it was
half
quite.
expecting a flashback and that we were going to see what actually happened, but
Mm.
we didn't need to.
I feel like actually the whole point of that was sort of like, does it matter
Yes.
what she
Yeah.
did?
Hmm.
Because when you look at Joel, but then also I also think that there was an element on Thursday's episode where it wasn't supposed to be completely black and white.
True. It was just interesting though because it was like there were a few times where people were saying to Amy, you started it,"
Mm.
and like Denise said, it don't matter who started it. He shouldn't have pushed her. He pushed her into a road, didn't he?
Do you know what though? I feel like if anything, Amy was self-defending from the very moment that because apparently the actual physical stuff happened outside of school. But I would
Yes.
argue that, and fully believe that this is what Joel did. He put this video on and was staring at Amy as though what was
Yes.
going on in that video was either
There's
what he was doing
important
to,
context. Yeah.
yeah, completely. Like that was an attack in itself because
Yeah, I agree.
he was doing that at Amy, basically either saying this is what I'm going to do to you or imagine that's being done to you or something like that.
Intimidating her.
Yeah.
You were
So,
intimidating her, weren't they? So
yeah.
her response has been to react in the
Yeah.
way that she has. I totally agree.
All of it self-defense. Um I quite liked the sort of the format of Thursday's episode. It was very it reminded me of the consent episode from a few years back with Ruby and all that. Do you remember that
Oh
one?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, but I actually thought that this one was better than that even because actually
Hmm.
what it did was really tackle a very, very relevant issue at the moment that actually doesn't have as much understanding as you think it does. And so they were able to sort of have different characters voicing different views.
Hmm.
And there will be viewers that will have, unlike the consent episode, I would argue, there will be people that agreed with some of the stuff that was being said by the likes of Priya, Sharon, all of that kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see, but that's kind of part of the discussion, isn't it? That was
Mm,
kind of the point of it. I found it interesting that that a lot of it was about the parents with the male children versus the parents with the female children. Did you
yeah,
notice that little
yeah,
dynamic? Except for Kim, who obviously was just kind of in the middle of it. It didn't
yeah,
affect any. I know Denzel was somewhat
mm,
involved, but
yeah.
it didn't affect him directly anyway. So she didn't. But I feel like Kim would have still stuck up. We've seen a few comments about like Sharon being quite out of character
See,
in all
now I
this.
don't think that was out of character for Sharon at all. I
I
really don't.
agree, and I think we're going to be on the same point with that. Do you feel like she was just backing Vicky publicly?
I feel like she was back in Vicky,
That's what I thought it
but
was.
also, I believe what was also going on there was Sharon. We at no point saw Sharon get the full picture of actually what had happened. At that point, all Sharon thought had happened was a bit of a push and fight between two teenagers and a bit of a mucky video had gone on the screen. Right? I don't
Mm.
think she was that fully aware of what had gone on, and there were a lot of people saying that, seeing as what Sharon has gone through in her life in terms of domestic violence and all that kind of thing, that she would be really, really against it right from the start. But I also kind of think that Sharon is the sort of person who would turn around and say, "Yeah, no, I've experienced proper male violence," you know. So I wonder whether she would think that there's an element of the kids being a little bit snowflakey about it, and they're trying to sort of amplify it to what she
Interesting.
has experienced.
No, I understand what you're saying there. In her way, in her eyes, it's you think that's bad.
Yeah,
This is what happened to
exactly,
me, kind of thing.
exactly. I kind of wonder if it
I
was there was
see,
a
and
bit of that at
I
play.
don't. I felt like I did feel like some of it was a bit like when not out of character. Sorry, like when they said about oh is that it? Just a dirty video, and I thought
Mm,
yeah, but actually that isn't. You're downplaying that a bit too much. But I just felt like it was all a bit of a I need to defend Vicki publicly. That's how I felt she was reacting. Not
Yeah,
that
yeah,
she
yeah.
necessarily believed what she was saying.
But then
A bit like what Vicki's been doing. That's what
yeah,
Vicki's been doing, really. Behind closed
yeah.
doors, she's giving it massively to both Ross and Joel, but publicly she's kind of defending him.
Yeah, but then even when they were having that conversation outside the Vic and there was no argument going on, it was just
Yeah,
basically a
yeah,
bit of
okay,
a
yeah. No,
debate.
I
You still
believe
had
that as well. Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
still had Sharon on that side of things, and I feel like she is
Yeah,
the
well,
sort of
like a wolf whistle.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which of course she does, and I think there was a very much a sort of generational thing going on there, and this is the thing with all this kind of thing. This whole sort of manosphere thing is still a relatively new issue that I think some people just haven't caught up with yet.
Yeah. It's
And
it's it's
go on.
like an extreme version
Mm.
of we were the documentary as well. We've got to mention
Oh,
that
the
at some point.
documentary
But
was fantastic. Yeah.
the psychologist on there said herself, like, misogyny has been around for a long time,
Yeah, this is just a new
but
form of it.
this is a new form. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
just
but this is
evolved.
the digital form of
Yeah,
misogyny, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Which is brand new to everyone, arguably.
Of course it is. And also I think what the main problem is that actually this whole thing on its own would be something that possibly could be dealt with a little bit easier. But unfortunately, in today's sort of hot world, temperature wise, you've also got the branch that also goes across to the words free speech, which
Yeah.
makes it 10 times more difficult to deal with because there's a whole sort of political ideology around the
Mhm.
whole thing as well. So that
Yeah.
makes it so much harder to stop because you can just literally, it seems that what you can actually do a lot these days is say, well, it's my free speech. I'm entitled to say that. It's free speech. And so people sort of struggle with what to do with that then.
Yeah, I agree. It were interesting actually. Sorry, I'm going a bit off like the topic of this. Well, no, it's not off the topic, but the documentary again.
Mm.
And they showed the statement from TikTok at the end. Did you see where they said that
Yeah.
they remove anything and they don't have anything to do with misogyny on the platform? And I'm like,
Yeah.
who are you kidding? Do you know how
Mm.
many? And I'm half. I'm half debating deleting TikTok after seeing that documentary. I'm going to be honest with
It's,
you, and boycotting.
I
And
mean,
I love TikTok,
yeah, I mean, I'm not
but it's
really
a
on
load of
TikTok.
crap. I've reported stuff and it don't get
Yeah.
taken down.
Of course it doesn't. And
I've reported so many things on
yeah,
there in the
and saying
past.
that
They
Andrew
don't get
Tate is
taken down.
banned from TikTok, yeah, I'm sure he is personally. Doesn't stop anybody
Personally, yeah, not his
sharing all his
content.
stuff, does it? And it's not the first time that I've seen this sort of I'm going to pretend to be a 14-year-old boy on TikTok and sort of
Yes.
see what it gives me.
Hmm.
It's not the first time I've seen that experiment, and
No,
both
same.
results were exactly the same.
Scary.
Yeah,
And that is
terrifying.
specifically TikTok as well, that.
Yeah. So how the
Mm.
hell do you stop your kids from absorbing that?
Yeah,
It's in their phones.
well,
You can't do anything about that other than ban them from their phones, and that practically isn't a thing you can do these days because you want your kid also to be safe, so that you have their mobile phones on them, so that you and them
mhm.
you can be in contact with one another whenever it needs to happen.
And I dare say all these parental like locks and things that you can put on kids' devices, they can get the way through him. I were better at technology than my parents when I was
Mm,
like 13, 14. I knew how to set the computer up better than them.
yeah,
We'd be there Googling it, us parents going, how do I put that on right? Those kids will
yeah.
be like, yeah, take that off straight
Yeah,
away.
exactly. Of course they
They'll know
would.
how
Of
to
course
do
they
all
would. Of
that.
course they
Yeah.
would. Yeah, this is something that needs to be addressed from a much higher level than is actually
Hmm.
being like the people that have been blamed for it at the moment, the parents. All right, yeah, there are some parents that need to take more responsibility, this sort of thing, Ross included.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's sort of like this goes to a much higher level where people need to actually make things happen.
Yeah.
And the
But
problem
I don't know
with
how.
yeah, and what was that? What was really quoted in this documentary, which I found fascinating, which sort of sums it all up, is that this whole sort of manosphere is purely a financial market. It's sort of like these things are really clickable, and clickable things get you money, and it's as
Yeah.
simple as that.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the thing that you're making them click is really, really toxic and dangerous.
Do you know, I thought watching the storyline itself, so like how I gotta keep wanting to call him Max now. How Joel was talking to Tommy,
Yeah.
and basically they touched on it in the documentary as well. And did you see any parallels to the world of politics a little bit? I'm trying
Mm,
not to be too out there,
no,
but
yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna say
100%.
it. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like
completely. Yeah.
the man is blaming all his insecurities and vulnerabilities on the fact that it's because of the women taking it
Mm,
from them rather than accepting like they were saying it's like yeah but people like Andrew Tate or Drake Zagan
yeah.
are feeding on these boys insecurities. They want them to remain insecure, otherwise they don't get any money from it, do they don't get any more
Yeah. That's all
clicks
it
if
is. Yeah.
you're yeah
Yeah.
just
I
reminded me a bit
would
of the political world and, blaming the
Well,
wrong people
indeed.
for why you're hard done by.
Well,
I just kept
indeed.
seeing the parallels,
Oh,
yes.
you watch our comment section this week. It's going to be fun, isn't it? I would also venture that I bet there are some who do these sorts of videos who don't actually believe what they're saying, but they know that they're going to get money from it. I bet
Yeah,
that's
or they exaggerate it.
yeah,
They
yeah.
half believe it. Because to be fair, surely there's no amount of money that'd make you be able to spout those kinds of things and know that what you're saying,
Makes the world go
could
around,
be
though,
having
doesn't
the
it? Money.
effect. Well, yeah, no, fair.
You don't
Like, yeah,
know.
some people probably do, yeah.
So that's our Newsnight episode done with. Let's talk about EastEnders, shall we? Fascinating stuff though on Thursday's
Yeah.
episode. It really, really was. And no more so because the whole episode wasn't framed as being black or white. This is the thing. Yes, obviously Joel is the one in the wrong, and by the time the end of Thursday's episode ends with the shocking climax that it did, I think we know that Joel is beyond redemption, and God knows what's going to happen from this point onwards.
Mm.
But there is a topic that was brought up that we have discussed on this podcast a few times that you've had
Go
an
on,
issue
Rob.
with for quite a while, which is the whole sort of men hitting women thing. And interesting this
Oh,
week,
women hitting men, do you mean?
that's the one, yeah. And interesting this week that, framed within this week's episodes, we had a woman slapping a man right at the start of the week when Kathy slapped Callum. And it's
Yes, we did.
two very, very separate stories. And I think actually that's almost an issue within soap, not even necessarily, the structure of EastEnders. It's a soap thing that actually, when you've got these two different storylines going on, now and again they're going to sort of clash slightly. And
Yeah.
that maybe was a thing with this, like that whole thing with Kathy slapping Callum, like within that particular story and within that particular character and the tone that story was, you understood kind of where they're going with that. But then at the same time, you then have a conversation between Kat and Tommy, where Tommy's going, "You literally hit men all the time. What are you talking about?" And Kat's like, yeah, that's different."
Well, a
And it's
bit
sort of
because
like,
she says a slap, though, isn't it? It's
still
different.
hurts, still hurts.
Well, Rob, this is what I've said to you before. I've said it
Well,
many a time to you, Robert,
but
about I
then,
don't agree with women hitting men on soaps and
yeah,
it just being really like casual.
yeah. But
And
then
then it's ended up being used against them in this particular
this is the thing.
scenario.
It's not going to be something that stops now, though, within the soap, is it? They literally showed it this week, like I say. So
Yeah, true.
it's not something that's good. It's a good point to make, but I feel like it's not necessarily going to be proven by any soap's actions moving forward from this.
Yeah. Well, like you say, yeah, with the ill timing of the Cathy hitting Callum,
Mm.
yeah, clearly they didn't. Quite poor timing when you think of it like that, really, to have had that happen.
Didn't gel particularly well in that respect, but
Or
it's a
is that
perfectly valid point.
Or could you argue that that just shows that people believe that it's not as serious if a woman? I don't know. Like,
No, they do. That's just the thing. It's like it's totally a thing that it's not
mm,
seen as serious because actually it's almost whimsical a lot of the time.
yeah.
Like Kathy going up and slapping Callum. It's a lot of it is sort of like, oh yes, Queen, Kathy doing her thing, and it's sort of like, well, actually, it kind of demonstrates the point of what Tommy was saying. Like, why is that okay? You know,
I just think, just don't hit anyone, everyone. Just get on,
great, but
right?
it's,
I know. I know.
lovely theory, but it's sort of like became sort of very much the basis of where Tommy's coming from. Now, I mean, I feel like between the two of them, Tommy and Joel, there's two very different stories going on there. Tommy is reacting to Joel, what Joel's saying. I don't think that
Hmm.
Tommy is particularly far into this world, no matter what he's coming out with. And
Yeah, I
actually, I feel
agree.
like Kat and Alfie, as difficult as this is going to be to kind of pull Tommy
Mm.
back from where he is at the moment, it's doable. Whereas
Yeah,
Joel is a million miles away from being pulled away
gone.
from anything at this point.
Yeah, there's no redemption for
No.
Joel now. Absolutely none. But I thought Cat again, mum points for me.
Mm.
Saying, Alfie said, I never want to have that conversation again. And she's like,
Yeah,
well,
no, tough,
tough shit,
tough.
mate,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we're having it
yeah,
100 times
yeah.
until,
Every single
and
day
she's
we're having this
right.
conversation. Yeah,
It's a
totally
massive
right.
thing, like
Yeah,
child
yeah, yeah.
psychology, Rob. You tell a kid, you can't do that, you can't do that. Say you're trying to teach
Guess
them how
what?
to balance on something in park, that ends up being there in a voice. Cat's right. You have to keep.
Yeah.
Tommy's heard it so much from his mate that now you need to undo all that and keep his voice being, right, this is the discussion we need to have. No, you need to
Mm.
understand what we're saying. It's going to be a hard job for him though, because Tommy is a
Oh,
bit further gone than I were expecting, to be honest. But
I
Joel
mean,
puts forward a good argument. I'm going to give it to him. I'm sorry. I
I
don't
said
agree
this
with
that
the
Joel's a
thing that he
bright lad.
says. Yeah, you're right. Because I can see how Tommy bought into it from what
Yeah,
Joel was saying.
this is how
And he
easy it
does
is.
argue it quite well. It's absolutely wrong. Everything he's saying is horrendous.
Mm.
But he knows how to argue it. I'll
Yeah,
give him
this is what I
that.
mean. This is not just the difference between Tommy and Joel is that Tommy can sprout this stuff with absolute and very easily.
Yeah.
I think you could probably destroy Tommy's argument because
Yeah.
he hasn't got the what he would believe to be evidence behind what he's saying.
He's not got references,
No,
so to
he's
speak.
just
Yeah.
parroting what Joel's told him. Whereas
Yeah.
Joel, I am sure, has got an entire back catalogue of stuff that he could use to
Yeah.
demonstrate what he believes is a
And
perfectly valid
statistics
argument. Yeah,
and
of course
yeah.
he could. Of course
Mm-hmm.
he could. And
Mm.
actually, the whole conversation that they were having about women hitting men actually is perfectly evident because Kat at one point you can see goes
Pot kettle,
which
yeah.
yeah, this it's not a simple case of you are wrong in absolutely everything you say. That's
Mm-hmm.
the problem with this. It's actually there are elements of it that are perfectly evolved to become you've kind of got a point there, and so that makes everything else around it a lot harder to remove from the initial
Mm-hmm.
positive points.
I think that they'd be daft if they ever showed Cat hitting a man again after that scene. I'm going to say
It's
that.
yeah, this is what I mean. It's kind of difficult from this point. It's perfectly right for a soap to tell this story, right? And this is a
Mm-hmm.
story that soap should have started telling a long, long time ago. And I'm delighted it's EastEnders that are doing it because EastEnders is the soap that can do it to this level,
Yeah.
and they do it very, very well. But yeah, moving forwards, it's sort of just like, are you going to remember everything you're saying in this storyline? Because actually, you're making some very valid points here, but are you going to go against them in the coming
Well, it's like you
months?
said. Then we had Kathy and Callum at the start of the week, so clearly not.
Mm.
Mm.
So Joel and Vicky's final scene was phenomenal, I would say. I think the pair of them are amazing together.
Yeah, I'm. I just can't believe that it happened like that in a way. Like it seemed so
It's been
brutal. I weren't
building up though.
expect.
It's been
Yeah, it has
building
been
up,
building
building
up.
up. Joel's been
I
wanting to do
mean,
that for weeks.
well, before you get to that, what about the stuff with Ross and everything? And before that, like, because Ross's reaction is always to be like punch, isn't it?
Mm, mm.
Can you
But
argue that?
yeah, but I just Ross hasn't got it in him to be able to deal with it sensibly. He hasn't got a clue what he's doing, and this is I think
Yeah.
is actually quite a yes. It's very easy to point fingers at Ross and say what a crap parent he is, but actually in many ways he's probably reflective of a lot of parents that are going through this at the moment, where they're sort of like. What do I do here? I haven't got a clue. I don't know whether to shout. I don't know whether to be nice. I don't know whether to pretend it's not happening. What the hell
Mhm.
do I do? Like, how do you
But
deal with it?
I was thinking that though, when they were all at the start of the episode, like in the square and all the parents, at that point, especially if I were Vicky, but I also understand her position. But at that point, I think you just have to be accountable parents and go, do you know what? We're in too deep with this, and even we don't know
Mm,
what to do. Tell us what to do. We do not condone any of it, and I'm not defending them anymore. But we need help, and we just don't know where to get it from. But instead, they're still defending him. But on the flip side, I actually understand that as well. Like, I get why you'd be
mm,
defending your kid publicly, even though, like I said, like with Vicky, she knows behind closed doors, she's the one screaming at him the most about how
mm.
wrong everything is. But publicly, she feels like she's she's not even defending Joel, she's defending Ross, isn't she,
Oh
really?
yeah, because Joel hasn't got any respect for Ross whatsoever. Demonstrated this week
Yeah.
by the row that they had. Like even when Ross started, like getting really aggressive with him, it's
Squaring
too
up to
late by
him.
this point. A few weeks back, that might have had an effect because we
Yeah.
saw Ross getting really angry with Joel and saying some hard truths to him, and
Hmm.
Joel kind of dissolved into tears because of it. Now he's realised that it's actually very easy to walk over Ross. Like Ross will calm down from this. Ross will be fine after a bit. Yeah, let him have his little moment.
He'll give
But
me a beer and a chat later and
yeah,
it'll all be
yeah,
forgotten.
yeah.
Mm.
And so by the time that Ross has done that, Joel's given him all this, and then it sort of evolved into the scene between Joel and Vicky, which was shocking, but it needed to be shocking. Yeah, I saw some people online say oh, it was too much before 9 p.m. No, it wasn't. All right, and do you know what? Actually, harsh reality. That's if you really think that that's too much, you want to see what's going on. You see what you want to see what's going on in the real world. And honestly, I am almost. This sounds weird to say, but I'm actually relieved that that's all that happened because I genuinely
I
thought that this was gonna. I thought that Joel was gonna rape her.
Yeah, so did I. I was actually shocked that didn't happen, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of glad.
Because actually, a lot
Um,
of Joel's control has been sexual, hasn't it? Like, the stuff with
yes.
Ivani, clearly the
Hmm.
video with Amy was supposed to be kind of
Hmm.
sexual control, sexual domination. So
Hmm.
I'm actually relieved for Vicky that that's not where that ended up. I know she's currently battered, bruised, and nearly
But
dead on the
I
floor,
think,
but
in a way, I think that shows his opinion of Vicky, though, because he
mm,
just kept referring to her as low value.
yeah,
But I feel like it would kind of like he wouldn't stoop to that for Vicky. But if it was,
beneath him.
yeah, yeah,
Mm,
exactly. Whereas if it was a female that he deems as, attractive, then
mm,
maybe he wouldn't think twice about crossing that line. But because of how he sees Vicky, it's like, because she's there in his face telling him how strong she is, and that's when he's like, let's see how strong you are, and
mm,
hits her. It's
yeah,
like he's proving that kind of point. It's not like she's saying to him, I could defend myself against you sexually
mm,
attacking me. It's like that's not her argument, is it, sir?
no. He's filmed that.
Yeah, he's going to go to jail, right? I feel like the Joel thing needs to be done now because it's
Do
like
we
he's
feel
filmed
this
it
is the
on his.
You feel this is the climax?
Yeah, he's filmed it on his phone, so he's dropped him. I mean, he's not that fucking clever. Oh, sorry, he's not that clever. He's not that
Yeah.
intelligent. He's filmed
Mm.
it on his telephone.
Yeah, it's on
Uh,
his telephone. On his telephone. Who calls it a telephone, Grandma?
but yeah, so I feel like he's dropped himself in it. He's got evidence there. But is Vicky going to press charges? Surely she is after this, right?
You'd think, but honestly, there's a side of me that sort of is can see Ross sort of going, "Let's just hold our horses a minute
Nah,
here." I don't know.
surely.
I don't know.
Yeah, but Vicky, he did physically intimidate her a few weeks ago, and it seems like she didn't tell Ross then.
This is
So
what
would she
I mean.
be convinced to not go? No, I feel like she would now. And
Oh no, she
Sharon's
would.
there as well.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a turning point for this
Mm.
storyline. This isn't a case of like, something big's happened, but things are then going to continue the way they are. This is definitely taking this storyline into a different direction. But it's what that new direction will be. It's sort of like, is this the worst we're going to see, Joel? Or is it going to get even worse from here? Like, yeah, physical violence is one thing, but I still don't believe that sexual violence is beyond Joel's remit.
No, not at all. I mean,
So,
hopefully, I mean, Amy would be a target, I dare say.
oh, he's got lots of targets on the square at the minute, I think, hasn't he?
I guess we'll know by next week. It all depends on whether Vicky goes to the police or not.
And what will
And
Tommy's
surely she
reaction to this
would.
be?
I think Tommy will see that it's too far with Vicky. Surely
I
that's going
mean,
to be his turning point,
you'd
right?
hope so, but then, he's kind of stuck by Joel throughout a lot of kind of quite convincing evidence that Joel is not a good friend to have in his life.
Yeah, but when Joel was trying to tell Tommy, you need to have my back, his argument about what he did to Amy was it was self-defense. There's no way you can argue that in this
No,
situation, in this
no.
scenario. There was no self-defense involved. You attacked
Mm,
Vicky. So I think even Tommy will be able to see. I mean, given Tommy's history there with Kat, but even, I mean, don't get me wrong, what Tommy did to Kat was bad, but it was never this
yeah.
extreme.
No,
I mean,
like,
he's booted her once she's down on the floor and filming her, and
yeah, it's a different
I
level.
yeah,
But
I kind
this,
of hope this is the end of it, but that we'll still have a lot more important discussions around the square like we've had this week because I've
yeah,
really enjoyed that element of it and
I,
seeing all the
yeah,
different characters' reactions
100%,
and
yeah, and sort of like an education for the people that were
yeah.
saying, is this as bad as it really seems? I don't know
Mm.
about that. Yeah, possibly. I mean, I just
What did you think
Yeah,
of the
that was. I thought you were doing that to me there. I was going to be like,
no, sorry.
"Rah." Yeah, no, that's purely patronising, isn't it? That's purely like that's like you do to a child, but in terms of like you're
Yeah,
doing it with genders, basically
yeah,
as well, aren't you? Like
yeah,
sort of like, yeah, shush, woman, shush, settle down,
yeah,
calm down,
exactly.
love,
Yeah,
calm
yeah,
down.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so that's what that is, and it's just I have to praise this storyline to the hilt. I think it's one of the best storylines in terms of importance for years and years and years because it's really, really so relevant and important at the moment.
Yeah,
Um,
very.
it really,
I,
really
I
is.
feel like I've actually, I don't know, maybe it's from the documentary afterwards, but I feel like I've actually learned a few tips as a parent, which is
Have
great.
you? So what? I mean, yeah, I was interested to sort of hear it from your perspective as a parent. 'Cause obviously, something like this is terrifying. Like your daughter's a while from being away at this age, but it's sort of
I
like, well,
don't
what
know.
happens next?
She started preschool, so she's like at nursery at the school she'll be going to. So you have like we have an app these days.
Yeah.
my daughter's school. It's a bit like Facebook, but for the school.
It's
And
funny you have an app these days as well, don't you?
there's already these like like things going out about safeguarding your child online. So it's actually
Already.
I'm not that far away from it. Obviously, I don't let her go on
Christ.
the internet on her, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But the thing I learned from the documentary particularly was the girl on it. Sorry, I've forgotten her name. I remember her mum's name
Roxy.
was Gay. Yeah, Roxy. How did I forget that? And her mum at the end was talking to Diane Parrish, and she was saying how she taught a kid about, when you go to parties,
Mm,
be safe around drugs and
yeah.
alcohol and all that. But she didn't teach her about the safeties of the online world. And I'm like, oh my God, that's such a good way of like phrasing it
Mm,
and saying it. And I don't know, I just thought that was it's stuck in my head that right, not only do I need to have these chats about drugs and alcohol and sex and all that, you need to have
mm,
chats about what is okay and what's not okay online. And the fact that, like Amy said, oh, I've seen all these videos before, not out of choice, but people just show it to your kid. If I'm honest, Rob, I think I just need to homeschool. That is what I've
yeah.
deduced from all of
Safest way to
this.
deal with it. Yeah.
Homeschooling
Just
is
don't let
leave.
your kid leave the house ever. That's absolutely
No,
fine. Yeah.
that's
Much
it.
easier.
Yeah.
Much easier. So next week, where do we think we're going to be? I mean, I feel like Vicky's going to get discovered. Joel appears to have just sort of done a runner at the moment. I mean,
He's
what
honestly so despicable, that guy.
is
Just like
awful. Yeah.
hate him so
Yeah,
much.
but I feel like Max Murray is putting in an award-winning
Oh
performance
my,
in this.
he's
He's
incredible.
amazing. He really,
Yeah,
really is.
I hate
He-
Joel so much
yeah.
that
It's
Max
just the
Murray's
way that he
great.
speaks as well. The way that he talks to people is just like you want to reach through the screen and punch him.
Yeah, he's so condescending.
Yeah.
He's great. You
He's
gotta
so
give
good.
him
He's
credit.
so good.
I just like I say, there's no way they can't not go to the police because surely whoever discovers Vicky, is it going to be Ross or is it going to be Sharon? I'm not entirely
Or
sure.
both. Yeah,
Or
yeah.
both, yeah. They're going to ring an ambulance. Surely then they have to go, right, who attacked you? This is like
Mm.
really serious. I feel like it is going to the police now, though. I feel like this is it with this.
I can, yeah, just because it's a soap, I can see them sort of dragging it out a little bit.
Do you reckon it's going to carry on?
I wouldn't be
What is, they're not going
surprised.
to go to, what, Vicky's not going to press
I can,
charges?
I can honestly just see Ross sort of persuading her not to. Okay, I
But
just
maybe
can.
she'll split up with Ross or
I mean,
something,
you would,
maybe.
wouldn't you? Like, no matter how
Yeah,
much
I'm
you love
sorry, I
your,
won't be putting up with that.
no, I'd have
I
been
love you, but
long
your
gone.
kid, oh my
Yeah,
God,
I'd have
bye.
been long gone by
Yeah.
now. I really, really would. Like, there's no universe that would keep me there. No matter how good Ross is in bed, I would not be staying there.
Well, no, but it is a valid point though because like I'd kind of be judging his parenting as myself as like as a partner, even though I know that you can argue
Yeah.
that what else could he have done, but also not enough. I'm
Well, it was
sorry.
interesting. Vicky actually tried to chuck him. What really kind of pushed Joel, I think, towards
Mm,
like where it ended up was Joel. Vicky tried to chuck him out, didn't she? She's like, "Oh, don't! I
mm,
want you gone. I want you out of here."
yeah, yeah.
So,
You can go and live with your mum.
yeah,
Oh, do you think that's what it'll just be then? That they
are we
just
going to meet
go.
this mum?
I don't know. They mentioned her a lot for us
It's
to
weird.
not meet
It's really
her.
weird that Zoe seems to be getting married and we haven't seen that, isn't it? I feel like we're going to have to meet this woman at some point because she's actually a
Yeah.
very important character in this storyline in a lot of ways.
Well, do you feel like what Ross has been saying is the total truth about what happened between him and Cleo? And maybe we're supposed to think that more happened there and that's what Joel witnessed. And do you know what I mean?
No, I
Did
don't
something
think
else
so. I
happen?
feel
You
no,
don't?
I don't get that vibe. I feel like this is, and actually, I don't think it would be necessarily be the right way to do it because I feel like
No, yeah.
this needs to be
Yeah,
all on
fair.
Joel. To be fair, yeah,
Yeah.
I think we've
And
got
what he's
enough
seen
on Ross.
online as well.
Yeah, I think we've got enough on Ross just being a bit useless in this
Yeah.
situation in terms
Yeah,
of
fair.
rather than it being Ross's actions that have literally sort of pushed Joel into towards this direction. I feel like
Mm.
they need, Joel needs to have the responsibility upon his own shoulders to say that, yeah, his mum sort of ran off and made me sort of question my view on women as a whole, and this has been my response to that.
Yeah, fair. No, yeah, fair enough. I agree. It might not achieve much. I don't know though. I still feel like there is a bit more to this Cleo situation. I'm just not
Well,
entirely sure what it
if
is.
we meet her, we'll find out. I feel like
Mm.
we do need to meet her because actually she's a really important character within this storyline.
Is she
So,
going to come back and be really defensive of Joel and actually be the only one that ends up fighting his corner? Even Ross is going to wash his hands of him
or maybe
after
that
the
will be
Vicky
the end of it. Like
situation.
this Cleo will come back and sort of like repair her relationship with Joel, and that will sort of magically sort of alter Joel's thinking a little bit. I don't
Nah,
know.
there's no redemption for Joel.
I'm not saying redeem him so much, but
Yeah.
I feel like, Joel needs to go to prison. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like maybe his final scenes might be a conversation between him and his mum
You're right.
just before
Yeah. I know
he
what you're
goes. Like
saying.
maybe in the trial she'll turn up or something.
And then I don't know. I just even if they had some kind of closure on it, I feel like with the fact that Joel is so far gone, there's nothing that she could say that'd make him
No,
go, "Oh yeah, yeah, actually, I respect women now because I've had this
no.
closure with my mum." No, I
But I
think
feel
it's
like that.
just
Yeah, I don't necessarily think she'll come on like
yeah,
it'll just be everything. Oh, sorry, I was wrong. I do apologise. I
yeah,
do. Yeah, sorry
yeah.
everybody. Sorry about that. God, what was I
So I was,
thinking? But I feel like a conversation needs to be had between the two of them
yeah,
to sort of give us
definitely.
closure on the storyline, to sort of put a
Yeah,
nice
okay,
little
fair
ribbon on
enough.
everything before it finishes.
Mhm.
But yeah, phenomenal stuff with this storyline this week. Really, 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 really strong. Gold star this week, Ray.
Giving it to Joel.
Yeah, fair, fully fair.
Not because I'm
Um,
condoning what he did, but because
I'm glad you gave
Max
it to
Murray,
Joel
to
and
be
not me.
honest. It's Max Murray, really. It's going
Yeah,
to British
he's just
Joel. Yeah.
fantastic. I think I might give on to Vicki again, to be honest,
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, fair. Yeah.
because the pair
Oh
of them were
God.
great.
Is it? Do you know what's bad? Right.
What's
It's
bad?
it's affected me so much that I am sat here worrying about Vicky being on the floor of that kitchen still.
I know, and you
Like
selfish,
genuinely, I'm like,
and us
what's gonna
selfishly
happen?
going
Who's
away
found
next
her?
week. Us selfishly going away next week. Honestly,
I know it was daft that, but
sorry,
what can be
folks.
done?
But I think she's going to be fine. I also do want to say a fantastic script by Kevin Rundle on Thursday as well. Like
Oh,
really, really
amazing!
good.
Really,
Yeah,
really good.
really
Hmm.
strong episode on Thursday. Like well done
Hmm.
to everybody involved in that. Really, really good. Right before we end the podcast, let's finish as usual with some comments from you.
So we've got a DM here from Lizzie who says, "Oh my God, this Thursday, wow, I'm shook. So amazing. Absolutely hate Joel. What an incredible actor. Rob, when you first mentioned this storyline about the Manosphere, I had no idea what you were on about, but my God, how my eyes are open. I'm a mum of two boys, a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old boy, and holy poop, are my eyes wide open. And
Mm,
it's really made me think about when they get older, how important it is for us to not only talk to them about this cruel world, both reality and virtually, and to really do my research into not only learning the new language, because oh my God, I had to Google Translate so many words, but really how exposed they will be to these things and how important it is to teach them right from wrong, and also to be open to learn about their world. And no matter how bad they can always come to me, and I'll do my best to understand and help them navigate through both worlds. And then she goes on to say, all that said, I'm loving the direction Ben Wadey is taking EastEnders. I look forward to it every week, but most importantly, I really look forward to listening to you guys and nodding along. My partner always thinks I'm on the phone when I have you guys in my ears because I'm always chatting away, agreeing with everything. Really looking forward in particular this week to the podcast. Thanks, guys.
excellent. Thank you
Great
very,
message all
very
around there,
much.
Lizzie
Yes,
B.
fabulous. Yeah, I mean, the whole point of a storyline like this is to sort of start discussions, and I
Mm-hmm.
fully believe that there will be people that are watching at home who had no idea really that all of this was going on to the extent that it is.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed. Yeah.
you know,
Just like
things like
Lizzie, yeah.
yeah, like
Bringing awareness
phrases.
to what to keep an eye out for as a
Yeah,
parent. Yeah.
yeah, phrases like manosphere and incel and all these kind of things. They're
Mm-hmm.
still fairly new. So
I'd never heard of Manosphere until EastEnders. I'd not heard
yeah,
that actual. I knew obviously about what it covers, but I didn't
yeah.
realise that there was like that name for it.
Honestly, if you haven't watched it yet, and you can, on iPlayer, EastEnders investigates the Manosphere. Have a look. It's very, very, very good.
It is
Um,
really good.
and it's just such an important topic to discuss. Like I've said, I'm so
Hmm.
so glad it's EastEnders doing this one
Hmm.
because they are allowed. I think they've earned the right to get that little bit grittier with this sort of thing, and they can show
Yeah.
just how bad it can get. Which I feel
Mm.
like is the whole point of Joel as a character. I think it's about showing just how bad this can actually go.
Well, talking of which, do you know? Do hope that they kind of can cover is how do you prevent it from getting that bad,
Mm,
or at what point is it that you intervene, and what are the steps to take
yeah.
to intervene? Because I feel like none of us still really know
No, I
what,
mean,
like, where could they have got involved and it would actually have an effect. With Tommy, it's quite clear.
yeah,
So is that what
like,
it is? It has to be that early on that you need to be aware. Is that what the
I mean,
lesson's going to be?
I feel like, Tommy is going to be the character that's used for that.
Yeah.
Um, because there certainly is a sort of point of like, if you're going to do this story, then you also need to tell us how to stop this from happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
100%. So yeah, it's just very, 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 very good, very, very strong stuff, and everybody involved is doing brilliantly. It really, really is. Catriona Kenny says, amazing. The discussions between all the characters was so important. Left me feeling sad, shocked, and uncomfortable, but we need to feel that way so that things might change. I mean, that discussion that was going on between the likes of Priya and Sharon and stuff, when they were when they were sat there going, it has all gone a bit woke. Woke, I mean, is just that most annoying phrase that's ever come out of the English language. All it basically is a term that's used to shield people from the responsibilities of their own bigotry. So
Agreed.
but it also means. Go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's to like belittle people who want to set their own boundaries, because one person's boundary might be different to yours, and that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. Like, I might be able to call you, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a word that's not too sweary.
Go on then. Go on then.
All right, I might be able to call you a dickhead, but someone else I know might not take that as nicely, and that's fine. And I will not call that person it, but I know that you can take it.
Actually, I'm really offended, and this is the last time you're going to see Ree on the podcast. So there you go. But no, I mean, it's a perfect. There is an element though where you can sort of see where those characters are coming from, because actually, generationally, stuff that it's a simple fact that stuff that used to happen wasn't as much of an issue as it is today. It's just sort of that's just a fact, and people I think sometimes struggle with that. I think it wasn't an issue for me, so why is it an issue for you? It's sort of it does kind of cause its own problems.
But they don't understand as well that actually all those little things, like what Sharon was saying, was I don't mind people wolf whistling at me. Those little things added up end up becoming the manosphere sometimes as well. That is what they all eventually can lead to. All those little things that they think are okay. I mean, Joel were doing it, weren't he, when he was on the building site not that long ago with Ross, and all the men were doing it, weren't they?
Yeah.
That's just another thing that added to what's gone on with all this. So it's about what's right and wrong, and making sure that you don't let certain things slip that could end up developing into something bigger.
Alessio Veraccia, sorry if I've said that wrong, has said, great standalone episode which can be easily shown and discussed in schools. I feel like both sides made good arguments, and the line of right and wrong was blurred in part, which is the whole point. Did feel a bit weird having Callum and Johnny speaking about how they're going to deal with these issues with Lexi. I mean, no, because that's, but it's important, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't feel like Johnny's and Callum are still going to be a thing by the time they get to discussing this point with Lexi.
I see what they're saying. I just thought they meant, why were they randomly there? But you mean it's a bit early for Johnny to be discussing parenting stuff about Lexi?
Possibly, yes. I mean,
they were just there to fill the 13-year-old parent gap, I feel.
Yeah, but then Lexi is at the age where this conversation needs to be happening, and maybe probably
100%.
and maybe probably yesterday is what they're saying, isn't it? So
which is what Julie said. Love Julie now.
Thank you. Julie works in this role, right? Doesn't she?
Yeah, she really does. Yeah.
This is going to be Julie post Nigel, I think, as well. I hope. I'm
here for it now. Yeah. Look at how much I switched that 1 week and everything changed.
You see.
It was really good, and she was right there, because they said, "Oh, thank God we don't have to talk to Lexi about this." It's just like, you totally said, yesterday actually. Yeah, she's probably seen stuff for all you know already.
And how powerful was that line as well? Sort of stop talking about your kids and start talking to them, or whatever the line. You know what I mean? You know the line I mean, don't you? Like,
yes,
that was really, really strong as well.
Yeah, because then they started arguing about Ricky and whether, look at Ricky, he got Lily pregnant and all of that jazz, and then they were all throwing stones, weren't they? Which is when she said, you need to stop talking about them and you need to talk to them.
Yeah.
And it did feel like it clicked, like Jack went home and tried to have a chat with Ricky, and he said the word neek. Like Lizzie B just said, I had to Google that. Do you know what it means, Rob?
No, of course I don't know what it means. What does it mean?
They've now combined nerd and geek.
Oh, that makes sense. Makes sense. I love it when there's a logic
kind of
to
lame.
Just okay.
Lame, I think. Yeah.
Why isn't that word been a thing? I feel like that's the sort of thing we should have done when we were younger.
A good word, but I think it's
unique.
Used more. I think it's used where when you were growing up, did people used to, if you were clever, they'd call you a boffin, and it'd be quite like a bad word.
Yeah. I
feel like neek's like that, like boffin.
Goffin. Geek and a boffin. So I've just done my own version. There you go. That'll be in the kids'
But like a negative way of calling you clever, weren't it?
Oh yeah. The thing is though, the way that kids' lingo goes these days, I bet Neek's completely outdated now.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
Probably. That's probably neek.
Yeah, probably about 5 years ago they might have said that, but now the kids are like, what does that mean? That's not even a word that people use anymore. Yeah. So really, really, really strong stuff with all of that storyline this week. Well done to everyone involved. Make sure you watch the documentary because it's very, very good.
Very good.
If you would like to get in touch with us, please send us all your comments for next week's episodes, which we will read out at the start of the following episode. And if you'd like to do that, you can do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and wherever you find your podcasts. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
We will be seeing you not next week, but the week after. We will miss you. We will be here though, and we are very, very sorry that we're not going to be here. Sometimes life gets in the way. Damn you, life. Sorry about that.
Life.
God, life. You're such a neat life. See, that works, doesn't it? Does that work?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Sure.
Until it wrong.
Yeah, probably. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See you then. Goodbye.
Bye.